Hello everyone, I'm David from BeastieGeeks, and if you appreciate our work, you can show this by subscribing to our channel. This time we're going back to feudal Japan with small samurai empires from Arcona Games. I have to confess, I have a tendency to avoid small games when I'm in the local board game store, taking comfort in the stereotype that small box offers rather shallow fun. Of course, I know it's not true, and we have plenty games on the market proving that this stereotype is false, but I simply can't resist reaching first for the heavy boxes with minis inside. This way, empires will probably go unnoticed, but both Greg and I we are crazy about Japan and Orient theme in general. So finally small samurai empires landed at our table. Is this game another example proving that my discriminative assumptions about small games is wrong? Let's find out. Components here are super minimalistic. Cards are thin and even tokens execution is quite rough, but we simply can't expect more from the game costing only 29 bucks on Kickstarter. But minimalistic is also art design here, and where it fits the Japanese theme, some of the players can find it ugly enough to not give this game a chance. But where the game has not stolen our hearts by its look on the table, it has done it by everything else. I love how clever this game is, without unnecessary mechanics and redundant components. The game is divided into 3 eras, where each has 2 rounds. Every round you place your action tokens face down on the board. When all players did that, you resolve actions from the bottom to the top of the board. Tokens placed this way stay for the second round, so new tokens must be placed on empty spaces, or they should cover your own or enemy's token already on the board. And now the best thing, during the second round you resolve actions in the opposite direction, from up to bottom. You must count in all tokens and those placed in the first round. Those few ideas force you to plan ahead, try to outsmart the enemy, predict his movements, and rely on negative interaction when necessary. After each era, you get few victory points and you gain influence in each region you have majority. At the end of the game, you will get most of the game's points by your positions on the influence track. What is beautiful here, that at the beginning of each era, each player chooses one card representing one of the game's regions. The more cards of specific region were placed during the game, the more points you score for your position on the influence track of that region. In our home, Greg is a person who reads all the rules, but sometimes when I'm super hyped about a game or when the rulebook is short, I make an exception. Manual in Samurai is short, written very cohesive and transparent, and has all information you need to play the game properly. Teaching someone how to play is also a piece of cake, and 10 minutes is enough for it. But winning the game is totally different thing. Interaction between all elements on boards, planning your actions for the whole era and building the strategy from the very beginning is something that needs some practice, and the game will be simply as challenging as your opponents. Another thing I love about this game is its pace. Of course, when you have a thinker at the table, analyzing situations in every region inch by inch, the game can last quite long. But normally, it can be played even in 30 minutes with 2 players at the table. And such a short time was achieved without any compromises when it comes to strategy, planning and decision making. Samurai works great with just 2 players at the table, and I can easily recommend it for you if you are looking for a competitive game you want to play mostly in duo. The only difference with more players at the table is the fact you need to consider their plans and movements into your strategy, which results in a bit tighter sessions and fewer actions you can take each era. The only issue with Small Samurai Empires I have is that the game is too generous with resources. You gain them thanks to taking harvest action, but also at the end of the era. And it's simply too much, and it spoils players with the excess of food and bushy tokens. Every time we have played the game, we made some harvest during the first era only, and then we avoided this action till the end of the game, playing it only when we do not have other options to pick from. Okay, resources give some extra points at the end of the game, but this is just another reason why the game shouldn't be so generous with them. Small Samurai Empires proved to be a huge, very positive surprise for us. It's shame it does not have a great board, better art, grand components and even grander minis, but not because Empires needs it, only because it will help the game get the attention and recognition it deserves. My recommendation for Arcana games? You have an almost perfect game, so fix the importance of harvest action and launch the second edition on KS with ton of minis and super extra graphics. Empires deserve recognition and definitely deserves a high place on Board Game Geek ranking. Each of us, Greg and I, give this game strong 4 scratches on 5 possible. This means Small Samurai Empires gets deserved 8 on 10 scratches and our mark of recognition. That's all for today. See you at the next game and do not forget to subscribe to our channel.